Hey, good evening, YouTube family. I'm bringing y'all the last one for today. BMF Season 4 Death of Hope. Ooh, there was a lot that was going on in this show, y'all. But I'm gonna give it to y'all, okay? So, it starts with. Hold on, y'all. It starts with Loco, and he is in the same, he stay in the same deep-ish, and then they back at the window like they was a couple of episodes ago when they was fooling with Loco and those feds, those federales, Mexican police. Okay, and then the feds come back in, and T tells them that they were, the ones that who broke Loco out. So pretty much they should give them some credit, and then they shouldn't be trying to just usher Terry out because they ain't want to with Terry, like for real, for real. But Terry was always the person that had the strong mind. He's just like his daddy Richard, with the strong mind. And he just pretty much said that I'm the one who was able to break him out. And then Loco tells them that let Terry stay. I'm like, yes, thank God. And then T also said that he is one of his top earners working for him in the U.S. And then they was all good with that. And then Meech and T, they talk about the status of Purdy. And then Meech yells that he did not sign up to chase some crackhead around town, around the city. And then T said that he gave her his word. And then Meech said that while he brought his lady, he said while he brought his lazy ass back, when then he need to make sure that he set up in A. And then so Meech always be son and Terry and all that stuff, and I'm like, Meech, baby, don't do him like that. I said because they just be fighting, just going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth like this, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then, outside of that, and then, hold on, y'all. I promise you, I'm gonna do my job at some point. And then Purdy came back to Trail for a hit, and she just ain't gonna learn. She ain't gonna learn Purdy now. I'm like, girl, you an addict for real, for real. And he tells her that nothing comes for free, and she know what he needs first. And then she says that does he forgive her while she bends down to get him the little slippery sock. He said he ain't no good. He ain't no good. And it got off of them. Then Meech and T, they arrive at Trail's house. Wakey. They both sleep on the couch, just passed out, just sleep. Trail and Purdy, they both sleep on the couch. Then Purdy says that don't hurt him. I deserve and I need him. I'm like, girl, no, you don't. You don't need him. And then Meech just pretty much said, you don't need him. It's the drugs that's telling you that you need him, but you don't need him. I'm telling you that you don't need him. And then Purdy says that, what Meech says, of course, that you don't need him, and this and this and this is drugs that's making you think that. And he said, you are great. You think that. And then he said that you are great, but you need to have a stronger mind, pretty much. You need to be able to decide how you gonna show up in the world. And he said he believed in her. And then Purdy tells Trail, She says that Meech is right. I don't deserve it, Trail. I don't deserve it, Trail. And she said, I never wanted to take drugs. You gave it to me first. And then Trail says that you gonna regret this, Ninja. Because she was out. And then she leaves with Meech and Terry. And then we get to B Mickey. We forget about B Mickey, huh, Brian? And B Mickey tells his wife that he is going to ATL with Meech and T to finish a job, of course. And she does not want him to go do it, but he tells her that he has to do it. And he'll be back. I said, yeah, he'll be back, all right. And then Lucille is telling the members, telling the members of the church, welcome to service. And one member says, yes, not as much as the Most High hit your closet. I'm like, ooh, what? And then she said, come again, what are you speaking about? Come again, I guess I'm not following you, what you talking about. And she said, come again, member. And then she says she is sorry. She does not follow. She said, I don't follow you, brother. And she just pretty much told him, have a good service. And then she keep welcoming everybody else in. And then we get to Purdy. And she arrives with the ladies. And she says that we are like family. And we love you. And when you was down and when you was out, then we was very, very worried about you. We was worried about you. And she said, well, we like family. And then Purdy said, that makes me feel good. It makes me feel good. And then getting back to Lucille. Lucille is not giving Nicole an answer about the money that T gave her. And Lucille then instantly says that ever since you lived in this house, you never had to lift a finger, or you never had to pay a bill. And you gonna have to deal with it pretty much. She told her that she never had to work for nothing, this, that, and then look. And then Nicole like, whatever, lady. I mean, I felt what she was saying, because I'm gonna tell you about her a little bit later. And then it goes back to Meech. And Meech told T that he followed Purdy. He found Purdy and she crashing out at his crib. And then so like he wanted to know. And then T tells Meech that he been taking care of Pops too. And then they both need to just stop it. They really do both need to stop it, because they taking care of different people in different ways. Meech taking care of Purdy, or he helping her. And then T, he taking care of their dad. I mean, and it's all gonna help all in one big ball. So they shouldn't just be trying to say, okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but I'm doing this better than you. But you doing that better than me. I'm doing this better than you. You doing that better than me. Just stop it. They act just like kids. And then, Markeisha. I hate to see her character coming. But Markeisha says, hey, baby. And it's boom. And she said, how you feeling? You okay? And he says, do I look okay? And I'm like, yeah, because she's stupid. And then he said that he lucky that he did not put his bitch ass in the ground. I'm like, okay, hush, boom. Because you ain't going to do it. If you was going to do it, you would have did it a long time ago. You doing a little bit too much of this, doing a little bit too much of this. And then Markeisha said that you did right by standing down so that the cops would not take you down and send you back to jail / prison. And she says that she got him some suits, and she said he gonna look fresh, and she said she need him to look fresh. And He don't respect her. He don't. She just wife on paper. That's all she is, wife on paper. And just no respect. And then he tells her, he says, get in the car. And then they get in the car. And then they just going on. Like, girl, T is a word of a difference in your actual husband. Because T is nice and T is sweet. He just got a situation with LaWanda. And, I mean, they got kids together. That's his first baby mama, and they have 2 kids together. And then Meech and Charles, they are, talking. And he wants him to write a song for Purdy. And also build a build a state-of-the-art studio. He said he know and he believe in him. Then Meech surprises him with 3 new guitars in his closet. And then Charles says as soon as he can play again. And then the first one, he said the first will be Sheila. He named his guitars now. First will be Sheila. And then the next one is going to be Maxine. And the last one is going to be Foxy Brown. And Charles is so happy. And he grabs Foxy Brown. And he says that Pam Grier was a bad woman. She was pretty back in the day. She still is, though. She's still beautiful. And then LaWanda and Nicole, they talking. And LaWanda says, this would be just right. This would be the right, portion when the baby comes. All the clothes and stuff that you folding, it'll be right for when the baby comes. Then Nicole says that she is tired and not getting along with Mama. And then she said the disrespect. And then LaWanda says that Nicole says that Lucille comes barging in with an arm full of groceries, like she just something. And then she said that food stamps ain't paying for that. And fresh flowers and magazines. And then LaWanda says that some mothers, she said, well, she doing everything that she can do for you. And then Nicole said, but no. She said, how long do she said pretty much how long she had to go through this. And then LaWanda just says that some mothers act out and she has the opportunity to be different. And, when she has her baby, she has the opportunity to be different from how her mama raised her. And just go in a different direction. And I'm like, yes. And then Purdy. How Purdy? So Purdy is at the radio station and she says that she is so grateful for both Meech and T. And then the radio DJ said that she has a special caller and it's Trill. And he says that he loves her. And he said that he was her first and the best start at stardom. Then he says that my door is always open. And then by that time, Meech and T, they trying to stop him from talking and all that stuff. And he just going on and on and on and on. And it's just, Purdy just don't have a good mental, and it's just driving her crazy. And I said, I feel bad for her. And then they finally came in and they pretty much cussed him out. And then he got off that phone. And then Lucille is getting questioned. Back to Lucille. Lucille is getting questioned by the members. And one of the members, a sister, says that she is seeing the church pays your salary. And we know that your designer purses and duds and are outside of our budget. And then she says that you can understand people's concerns. And then Lucille says that I am not sure that I understand the questioning. And then she pretty much, the woman pretty much said, your attire. She pretty much told her that that attire is not fitting. Hold on, y'all. I'm reading these notes. She pretty much tell her that her attire is not fitting the church's bylaws and all this stuff. Because Lucille got on all that expensive, over lavish, attire and all this stuff. And they pretty much saying that ain't fitting the budget. So they want to know where she got the money from. And then they all but wanted to know too, because all the board members was on board with this. Then they said, 1 minute you don't have the money, and then you get the $2,000. And we want to know where you got it from. And she said, you don't have the right to ask me how that I am getting my tithes and offerings. All you know is I'm getting it. And you were pressuring me. And I mean, all you need to know is that I got it. And then looks to the left. Lucille, she do this. Lucille, she said, and then she said it was a miracle from above. And then, like I say, she looking forward and all this stuff, just all high and mighty. And she pretty much done got found out. And she can't even get her lies right. She can't get her lies right. And then she says that she will look forward to hearing from them very soon, because they pretty much was questioning. They trying to put her down. They trying to fire her and excuse her from the church, because they saying that it's not, fitting with the bylaws and all this stuff. Pretty much being nosy, and that's how some churches be. Some churches be like that though. And then she just walks out and she says, well, I look forward to hearing from you soon. And then we get back to Miss Lakeisha and Boone, and they arrive at the club, and then Boone says that he is ready to get back to business. I said, oh, he finna cause a problem with Meech and Terry. He gonna cause a whole bunch of problems. And whoever the man was that was in that club with him, he said that, he said that it's a shipment, in Texas, that I can go ahead and put you on. I said, keep in mind what I said, that shipment in Texas. And Markeisha was there. And Boone was there. And then it goes from them, and then it goes to Laz, and he's telling Detective Vaughn that he is ready to get it over with, and Vaughn still, pressuring him and all that stuff, and he want him to wear a wire now. And he said, you need to make sure you go to that party, and when you go to that party, I just need you to wear this wire, because I need to figure out what's going on with being men. And I'm like, okay, I'm so sick of Vaughn. And then Meech thanks his girlfriend for coming and helping Purdy, and he says that he really believes in Purdy. So he really believes in her. And then T calling Markeisha, and he was thinking that Boone got in her ear. And then she tells T, and then she didn't tell T, that he has a connect in Texas. And you see what I'm saying? That's why I said that was going to be important. What she was talking to that man and Boone, it was going to be important, because she coming back. And she's saying that he got a connect in Texas. And that's why I said, now she just a fucking snake. Like, for real. And then Purdy is at Platinum Rose, and then she is performing, and she is told that it is, a present for her. She was in the dressing room. She said that she got a present for her, and she said, who is it? Who was it? And then She just said, I don't know. It's just some big man. And as soon as she opened the darn gift, y'all, why it was a thing of, I said, I just felt so bad. I feel bad because I really wanted her character to, thrive and be better. And then, she did a little tiff, sniff, sniff. And then it was time for her to go on stage and then do her rehearsal. And then she just, yeah, and we, and then me said, what's going on? And then he said, I don't know. And then she just done fell out, y'all. She just fell completely out. And I said, Jesus. And then Charles started to pray. And then Lucille meets with a member of the church. And Lucille said that she is so tired of scraping and scrounging to get by and crawling for breadcrumbs to go with her water. And she said, I'm supposed to feed my followers before my family and myself. And then the member says, yes. I'm like, shit. I said, really? She told her yes. And then she said, well, the flock believes that drug money from your sons is being used to enrich your own lifestyle. And it's Lucille. And I'm like, Lucille, now don't lie, because that is what's going on. Because you are in the church. And then pretty much the church is not obligated to know where her tithes is coming from. Because, Lucille, she piped up and said, well, pretty much the church is not authorized to know where my tithes are coming from as long as I'm getting it. And she said that she has to do what she has to do for herself and hers. And she said, yes, she brought a dress. And I will take it up with the Lord. And the member then cut her back and said that she has ousted her. They have ousted her. And they have ousted her, and she said that the board was considering ousting you. And I said, I wanted my job back. I said, ooh, ain't they snakes in the church too? Ooh. And she said she wanted her job back. And I'm like, okay, well, girl, go ahead and get your damn ragged ass job back. How about that? And then Lucille, she said, the member said that she loves her, but she loves the congregation more. I said, well, shut the front door. So she said that she loved Lucille, but she loves the congregation more. I said, oh, okay. She loves the congregation more. Then Lucille says that tithes and congregation are more important, and you tell your board that she said tell your board that pretty much that she had different values and she had different, she believed in different stuff than the board and all that. And then she told the woman, she said, and you just tell your board that. And she just walked out. And she said, well, Lucille, she said, ah. And then she said, go on, get. I'm like, finally you did something right, Lucille. And then they go back to the hospital where Purdy was admitted to, and they get the news that Purdy did not make it. And T says, well, stomped and ground. You just should have not even, just couldn't let it go. You just couldn't let it go, Meech. And they just going back and forth, and then Meech told him to shut the hell up, T. Cause shut the hell up, T. And then Charles jumps in saying, stop it. And then he says that he told him it was a sinking ship. And then why Bond come through and saying, your pops is right. Y'all still fighting like kids on the playground. And then they say it was. It's shame that y'all had both of your parents. And y'all still pieces of ish. I said, And then Charles said, okay, watch it. And then he said, you gonna hit me? You gonna hit me? You gonna hit me? And then he said, Ninja, he said that he ain't even worth it. He said, you ain't even worth it. And he says that all that ish you talking ain't gonna bring Kevin back. And he just walked off. And I'm like, yeah, that's a sore spot for you, Vaughn. And then he just I'm like, boy, hush. And then the Red Dogs, honey, when I say that they hit all their stash pots, they hit stash pot 1, stash pot 2, and then they throw a bomb in stash pot spot 3. And then they got all 3 of their stash spots. And then they said, yeah, we gonna get you. Yeah, we gonna get them. We gonna get them. And then Trail bodyguard tells him that Purdy is unalive. And then he says, ungrateful bitch. I told her, if I can't have her, nobody will. And I said, ooh, he did it. Because I knew she should have been good in that hospital. He did it some kind of way. And then at the Pink Palace, and then they are throwing the party because, you know, Meech pretty much said that, T, we are still going to throw our fucking party. And then, you know, they at the Pink Palace, and then they all just coming up and just showing appreciation to Purdy. And then B. Mickey looking, and Laz comes up to Meech, and then he shades with his shades on and tells that the stash spot was hit in a low voice. So, you know, the wire that he wearing can't hear it. And then B. Mickey rolls up, and he pretty much can cop what's going on because he in the cut. And then B. Mickey rolls up on Laz in the back of the club outside. And then old Vaughn and Hardy are talking in the car, and then they are saying, then they was like, and like, cause they threw the damn wire on the floor, on the ground. And then B. Mickey said that we in the same situation. And then Laz says he don't know him, but he get in the car with him now, cause he said we in the same situation, and we can go somewhere and we can talk. Let's take a ride. And then Nicole is combing her hair, and then she stands up, and then her water breaks. And then she said, Mom, it's too early. It's too early, because that's why I was like, what? It is too early. But she poking out now. And she said, Mom, it's too early. And then Lucille said, come down. It's okay. We gonna make it. The bag is downstairs. And then we gonna go ahead and go on to the hospital. And she said, just be cool. Just be calm. She said, Mom, I'm scared. She said, it's gonna be okay. And then they go get the bag to go to the hospital. And then B. Mickey and Laz, they talk. They still in the car and they talk. And he said again, he was in the same situation as him. And then he said he saved Meech too from the cops and everything that was going on. He always looked out for him. And then he says, really? BMF, ride or die? And then they pull over because they were supposed to be having a little smoke. And if y'all remember about B. Mickey, he don't smoke no more. He finna find out. And then they pull over and Lance says that you want to hit it? And then he turns around and he says, no, I don't smoke no more. And it was pow, pow, pow. And he unalized Lance. That's the end of the episode, y'all. It was pretty lit. And I got y'all 30 whole minutes. And this was worth it. And I hope y'all watched the review. And I'm finna go ahead and upload it, y'all. Love you, love you, YouTube family. Y'all gonna get me to stop saying Facebook. Bye, I'm gonna get this uploaded now.